People who have been cheated on. How did you find out? Got off early from work one day. Literally walked in on her fricking some other dude. I thought that kinda shoot only happened in the movies. But it happened to me. My colleague got laid off from work and was sent home early. He walked in to find his girlfriend going at it with his roommate. Talk about a bad day. ETA, his roommate was also his best friend. Similar thing happened to my uncle. The girl lived on a houseboat. And one day my uncle was out doing a mountain bike race but came off his bike and injured himself, so he had to quit the race. So he comes back to the houseboat caked in mud and blood, already annoyed, and walks into the boat to find her shagging another man. Props to my uncle though. He told us he was so angry he didn't know what to do. And the first thing he saw was her keys to the boat, so he walked out and threw the keys in the canal and then buggered off and never saw her again, faced with tears of joy. His friend was kind enough to tell me. It ruined their relationship. But it was very meaningful to me. I appreciated someone doing me the kindness of letting me know. I had a similar experience. Her best friend found out she had been having an affair for a decade and told me. Being cheated on really destroys your sense of self-worth. But knowing that someone else flushed a 20-year friendship down the toilet to tell you softens that blow a little bit. It really meant a lot. That is how my mom found out my dad was cheating. One of his friends told her. A girl texted me and asked if I was single, because she saw my girl making out with someone else at a party. I guess so. I ended up with the girl who texted me and I am so over my ex. My parents told me. They overheard him on the phone with another woman. At least you didn't have to announce it to your parents, I guess. This sounds like an episode of a sitcom. I would make sure the woman on the phone wasn't just Ethel Mertz. We were out on a date when she got a phone call. Her fiancé had just been in a terrible motorcycle accident and died. We had been dating for about 8 months at that point. We never talked again. How exactly did she explain that? There's this guy I kinda know. Fuck, that's insane. How did you react? Not me but my parents. Dad found out from a dirty text that his best friend of 30 plus years sent to my mom. Mom was mentally abusive and convinced him not to tell me. I was in college and didn't live at home at the time. I found out a month later when wife of said best friend messaged me on Facebook and asked how I was doing with all of this. Mom left and hasn't talked to me in 6+ years. Dad got remarried. He just had his first anniversary. New wife adopted me and I have a good mom for the first time in my life. His brother told me. Found out the car accident he had been in a year earlier was as bad as it was because he was in the backseat getting a blowjob when they got into the accident. No, he was not driving. I'm a claims adjuster and I handled a very similar claim. Guy was cheating on his wife. He was driving while his much younger girlfriend was giving him a BJ. He lost control of the vehicle and flipped it. The girl died. He was fairly seriously injured. Didn't lose his duck though. His wife had him served with divorce papers in the hospital. No, he was not driving. Aha. So she was driving while leaning back and sucking his duck simultaneous. I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. I found a sexually explicit love letter that was not for me. We had been married for 15 years. Oh shoot man. That must be harsh. Hope you are doing okay now. My mom caught my grandmother doing that as a teen. When confronted she swore she'd break it off. FF a decade and she splits. Is engaged to the other guy in like a year. Found out after we broke up. Another one of her exes struck up a conversation with me. We compared notes and realized the timelines overlapped. Had something similar happen. I was dating a guy and it wasn't serious. But I thought we were exclusive at least. We broke up and a girl posted on his Facebook a couple months later a picture of the two of them with their new baby. I guess that explains why we were always hanging out at my place and not his. She FaceTimed me and I saw she had a hickey on her neck. Then she mentioned the fact she hadn't taken her birth control in a few days. We were long distance at the time. After that I asked if she fricked anyone else and she said yeah. OHH, the old scarf in July routine. Yeah, didn't put it together until a few days later. You know how Facebook chat bubbles open up on top of whatever app you're on? He sent me a screenshot of something funny between him and his cousin. In the background was a text message about a date he was going on with this girl. Serves his dumbass right. I feel like Facebook chat is the reason for a large portion of finding out someone is cheating these days. Those chat bubbles and notifications. Could be wrong though. The prostitute, literally, banged on the door. When I opened it, she zeroed in on him and threatened to sick her pimp on him for not paying her. This one is my favorite. Did he pay though? The girl texted me. I had my doubts, but no evidence. Not that I needed evidence to leave, but that's another story. She texted me on IG with screenshots of him chatting with her, and a very prominent pic of his duck against a very distinctive floor tile. Busted. My duck ain't that length. This happened to my best friend. When the girl found out my best friend existed, she immediately told her all the sus shoot her BF had been up to and called him out pretty viciously herself. They're good friends now and he lives on his boat cause he was staying in my friend's apartment rent free. He was paying his ex rent over Venmo. We were going to move to a whole ass different state together. Apparently he was thinking all three of us were going to be a happy family. Another time, a guy told me his grandpa passed so he needed to go be with his family. Posted my love my life on a night picture with his GF of 1 year. That was not me. His grandpa was fine. What a piece of shoot. I can't believe people like this exist. This is terrible, but I read this as if you were more angry about the grandpa being fine than about the GF thing. Came home from class early and found her fricking my roommate on the couch on the middle of the day. You too? Holy shoot. What did you do? Honestly, I had suspicions prior to me actually finding out. But it's a fun story. I worked the overnight shift at a printing store. My then girlfriend was sleeping soundly at our apartment. Or so I thought. At around 3 a.m. she walked in wearing an oversized hoodie and leopard print high heels. I'm a bit puzzled. She looks she's been crying. I ask her what's going on. She says she wrecked her car and needs my keys so she can go home and sleep. I give her the keys and she leaves. I get home at around 8 a.m. She's sleeping. Her purse is on the table. Her phone is there. I reach for her phone. The purse falls sideways out, spills condoms. I unlock her phone and go to her messages. There is a long text conversation between her and another man. She had been cheating for a while. I woke her up and asked that she leave that day. My dad helped me drop her shoot off at her grandparents'. She was drunk driving her brand new car home from a party with her other lover when she lost control of her car in a ditch. She reported it as stolen and had a friend give her a ride to my workplace. I've had no contact with her since and I never want to see or hear from her again. She had a friend give her a ride to your place instead of home? That's just not smart. Was her name Katie? My ex-wife directed to her drawer full of love letters. I am pretty sure she wanted me to find them. We were sleeping in separate rooms. Going through counseling. It was her way of saying the marriage can't be fixed. She had been having affairs for years. I was oblivious because of my job. We broke up. I made a new friend and she asked if I had a boyfriend and I told her we had just ended the relationship. But I also told her his name, to which she replied I had a boyfriend with that name too not too long ago. It wasn't a common name in our area, so I laughed and I showed her a picture and she did the same and we stopped laughing. It was the same guy. We both dated him for like 4 months and 2 of those at the same time. Sounds like the start of a beautiful friendship. Reminds me of the one man who had like 15 wives and none of them knew about each other. It'd been seeing this girl for 8 months, and flowers arrived from a guy called Matt on her birthday. But she managed to convince me he was just a friend. It wasn't a problem as I was finally meeting her family for the first time at her birthday meal that same day, and she dropped the L-bomb a few days before. I stayed at hers after the meal, then left for work in the morning. Later that day I sent her the usual text of when you free next, and then she decided to inform me that Matt was actually her boyfriend of 5 years, and she was moving 300 miles to the house that he had bought for them both, and I would never get to see her again. Safe to say it left me with just a few trust issues. Did you tell Matt go? I feel like he deserved to know. I had suspicions about my wife for a while, but confirmation came in the form of a voicemail from the guy's wife. It's calling. Just wanted to let you know that your wife has been having an affair with my husband. So, I just thought you should know. If you have any questions, I'm sure your wife would love to tell you all about it. Bye. Absolute power move. You go. If you have any questions, I'm sure your wife would love to tell you all about it. Savage. He got arrested after her mom came home early. He was 23. She was 16. Yeah, that wasn't fun. Funny thing, it was this day 4 years ago that I found out my wife was having an affair with her boss. I knew something was wrong. The way she acted around me was off. I had asked her point blank if she was having an affair with X. She denied it and suggested we go to marriage counseling. I took this as I was doing something wrong and went in hoping to find the issue that could save my marriage. She lied again in the counseling. This went on for about a month and a half. I had Thursdays off of work, so I got up and worked out. Did a little bit of cleaning and sat down. That moment my brain went wild with the possibility of her having an affair. So I logged into her Facebook and found the messages between her and X. I called her crying asking why. I left the house and went to the bank to get my half of the money. On the way I called an old boss and had a better job in a different city by the end of the day. I am a pretty simple person. I don't ask for much besides trust and truth in a relationship. That was broken now and I was out. I ended up remarrying a good woman with 2 kids and couldn't be happier. The first half of that could have been me. I tormented myself for about a month before finally validating my suspensions. 11 years together. It's been 6 years now and feels like a distant memory and much better off, but sucked for a while. Glad you're doing better. She had been acting a bit strange and felt like more of a roommate than significant other. I had seen her get some message and try to keep it hidden. At work the next week I guessed her IG password and found blatant message exchanges with her ex plus other men. I immediately started looking for a new place to live and was getting all my things in order when my boss let me go. I waited a few weeks to break up with her while I figured my life out. I was at peace though because I knew she was a horrible person and I also no longer had to deal with my arsehole boss. Edit. Since this is getting attention. If you have this miserable experience, just know that the best revenge is to live a full and happy life with absolutely no contact. Drop them out of your life. Go find some new hobbies and decide the sort of person you want to be. Developing who you are will eventually lead to understanding when you truly connect with someone. Good luck to you. Sounds like it was for the better. My wife cheated and had a 2-year-long affair. I found out when the other man's wife texted me and told me everything. I confronted my wife and she lied through her teeth until I hit her with some facts of the matter that she couldn't deny. We were HS sweethearts that were together for 18 years and married 11 with 2 young kids. 3 and 5. The absolute worst moment of my life and I've been in a deep depression since finding out. I'm so sorry man. This one just cuts to the core. Man, I'm really sorry. I hope you are doing well now. I was in Denver for a month for work. When I got home, we had a date night planned but she called me crying and confessed that she'd been with someone else while I was out of town. As it turns out, someone was actually her ex-husband. It also turns out, I dodged a major bullet there because a few months later she called me to tell me that she found out she had herpes. I got checked out and I did not have it. So she did me a huge favor by not having sex with me again after getting back with her ex. Good on her for making that call though.